Yes, that is her. It is because of her that I set out from Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, to Kakamega County, some 376 kilometers, that is 234 miles away, in my pursuit to bring her to you so that you get to hear her story. Kakamega County can be reached by air or by road using private cars, shuttles, and buses. The county is mainly inhabited by the Luhya, the third largest community in Kenya after the Kikuyu and Luo. It is said that when the white settlers visited the area, they were fascinated by the way the locals were eating ugali, a local staple food among the community. When served with the ugali, the locals would watch the settlers pinch the meal and exclaim, "Hohameka," which the settler imitated by pronouncing as Kakamega. Kakamega experiences long rains in March to May and short rains in August to October, with temperatures ranging from 18 to 20 degrees centigrade. This is the second most populous county in Kenya. It boasts of green vegetation and hosts Kakamega Rainforest, one of the most attractive places to visit to see and hear the chirping from over 400 species of birds, and also get to see Africa's largest cobras. The main economic activity is crop and livestock farming, as we will hear from our retiree today. This journey from Nairobi capital city took us through the towns of Naivasha, Nakuru, Eldoret, up to a village in Soi, Kakamega County. Before the implementation of the 2010 Constitution of Kenya, Kakamega was a district as well as the provincial headquarters of the then Western Province. We are now in Soi within Likuyani sub-county in Kakamega County. Here we are getting through the gate into the homestead of this retired teacher and principal of various high schools, mother, grandmother, sister, daughter, friend, and a true Kenyan. Have you ever been to a home where you have to fill a visitor's book? This is a teacher's home and she has kept the tradition. So I have to fill the visitor's book while in her home, and the book is really filled with some of them very prominent people. Wow, what a beautiful way to remember people. Hello, I'm coming live from a village in Soi in Kakamega County, and we have, as usual, have to talk to a retiree and listen to her story, how she has contributed towards the development of this country, and how she retired and what she is doing today. And you will get to know her. She stays in a rural area. I was born in Nairobi because my father was working in Nairobi. I started schooling in Nairobi Standard 1 and 2. And then my father transferred my big sister and I to our home in the rural area. And from then henceforth, I stayed in a rural area. I grew up wishing that I would live in an urban town. You know what children feel like? Because during that period, there was no electricity, there was no water in the village, and life seemed to be very dull. And when we would go back to school, especially when I was in high school and when I was in my A-level school, the children who came from the urban schools would really come up with stories that would really make us, those who came from the village, like we have been left out. So I kept on wishing that I would live in an urban area. And when I finished school, of course, I was able to join college in the capital city of Kenya, in Nairobi. And I really felt like I had achieved it by being in the urban area. But as years go by, priorities and wishes and everything keep changing. And today, I can tell you from my own experience and from my own way of looking at life, rural areas in Kenya are some of the best places to retire from. The electricity, the water, and all those amenities that would attract us to the urban areas have already been brought up to the rural areas in Kenya, and especially through the devolved governments that we have been having since the proclamation of the Kenyan Constitution in 2010. And it is one of the best places that you can ever settle, as you will hear what benefits our guest today, a retiree, is going to give us. And I welcome you to my channel. Please, let's walk together with my guest.
My names are Faith Munyendo. I was born at Panyako, Kodera area, Matungu sub-county, Kakamega county. I was a fifth born of Amina Wamukoya and Ali Wamukoya, who was then the chief.
The Chief Ali.
Yes, Chief Ali. So I went to school at Makunda Primary School, and then Kabkoshe Primary School, and then Mias Girls Boarding School, where I did my KCPE and went to Butere Girls High School. I was there for 4 years, and then I went to Form 5 and 6 at Highland School in Lorry. High cost school, but I was lucky to be given bursary. I was paying only 80 shillings per term.
80
shillings per term.
But that was a lot of money those days.
That was a lot of money, but at Butere I had been paying 100 per term. So for me, Butere was more of a high cost than Highland School. Yes.
But in terms of facilities, Highlands must have
been. Can't compare. You can't compare Butere to Highlands. Yes. But somehow I thought it was a school which was spoiling the African girl.
What do you mean?
Because they washed your clothes, they did what, and the meals were so expensive. For what reason? You know,
because
and
that's why it was called
after only 2 years, you are going back to where you came from, where the life is so low. You know, the meals are so, sometimes they are not there. But here is a place where you eat even sausages, but the cuckoo. So this was my springboard to the University
of Nairobi. Yeah, I remember people used to stress the University of Nairobi.
Correct. When we were in Form 6, we were told that we were going to be selected to go to Makerere University. But when something happened, there was a girl who was killed in Kampala, and they changed. And so all of us who had applied to go to Makerere ended up in the University of Nairobi. So I was in the University of Nairobi from 1973 to 76. 3 years. Yes, I did a course, a degree in BA design. I got a certificate called BA design. That was my degree. Yes, and then shortly after I finished, I got into Nangili Girls Secondary School by the board.
Okay.
And soon after 3 years, I was taken by TSC. Yes, Teacher Service Commission. I was there until 1988 when I went to Usuru Teachers School. I was there for only 1 year, then I went for my PGD, postgraduate diploma in education.
Okay.
Yes. So I did that 1 year at Kenyatta University, and then came back to Usuru Teachers College. I was teaching art. After 2 years, I left Usuru Teachers College. I went to Iregi Teachers College, and I was there for 4 years. And then I was transferred on a little promotion. I was transferred to Bondo Teachers College. I said, oh, Bondo is too far from home. Anyway, you can work anywhere. But, thinking about Bondo, where I opted to go back to TSC, and they gave me Lubino Secondary School, still in Kakamega. So my craft was coming from to
Classroom teacher.
yes. So from there, I was there one day. Then it was over. I was given a letter to go to St. Teresa Community Secondary. I was there 4 years. My husband started falling sick. He also retired from Near Sugar Company. And then I opted to come near home. And when I asked where I could go, he came here and said, Augustine's, for example, Secondary School. So I retired at Soisambu Secondary School 06.
2006.
Yes.
Okay. So you have been a teacher. So how was teaching those days compared to teaching today?
Observation. First of all, I thought that teaching was more seriously done in those times than these days.
Why?
I don't know why I think that way, because when I went to Form 1, I am very proud of my school.
Which one?
The type of teachers I found there, they loved us. And I was an average child. Ability mentally, I was average. Really, maybe to the lower side. But they really molded me until I came up to be what I became.
Okay.
You had a lot to do with respect to that teacher, the teachers. And they are not just one teacher. All the teachers in the on the compound are after the children. We were, we were looked after like gold. Were we gold or not were we? Okay, a very bright child maybe will go through from his own his or her own. But if a child is of my type, average and lower, you can be sure there are the many people that are in the village.
So when you retired 2006, I want us to start our story from there. Yeah. So
So
you told me you retired in 2006.
Correct.
Was that voluntary retirement? Or?
No. I was 55 years.
2006, people are not retiring at 60.
In my year, that is the year that they changed. And in fact, I was asked if I could revoke so that I could go on to 60. But I was so excited to be out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So, were you prepared for retirement?
Really, I was. I was prepared because I'd left St. Teresa's Bumini to come to St. Augustine so that I could be coming from my home to school instead of staying at school. So, which means I was already prepared. I had a home to go to.
Okay.
Yes.
And family-wise, were the children still in school?
Yes, school, the last 3 were in school. Fortunately, that is the time my husband got his retirement benefit also. And so it helped us to pay off this huge school fees that was remaining.
Okay.
And it was not school, it was college fees.
They were in
For the
college.
children. So we managed, and with the little that I was still getting a salary, we could still pay off. However, I had a stand, a good forest. That forest, it was just coming up, but the trees were maturing. So I remember there was a time I had to take my child, the last one, to college, and there was totally no money. I cut down 20 trees there, and I had money to take her to college, Moi University.
Okay. How big is the forest?
It's about 2 acres.
2 acres.
2 acres. Also.
Wow, that is good.
I used to plant every morning. I'm going to Soisambu. I plant about 20 trees. Another time, 30 trees. Wow. In the evening, I come and also plant and then rush to school.
Wow.
Then we had animals. Somebody was staying here, a very good man. So every time we came, there was an animal. After a year, we have an animal to cows and animals, cattle.
Oh, you had cattle. So
yes.
you were able to sell your cattle?
Yes.
Okay.
And pay for school fees.
Okay. Can you tell us,
Yes.
what in your mind did you imagine about retirement?
That is one area which looked grey to me. But I thought that if I have a good home, some home where there is water, some electricity, and I'm able to have some money to invest in the soil. You know, as you retire, you become weak. You can see even my legs can't carry me. But you have some little money which you can send somebody. Right now, the seed for the grass is ready. I'm supposed to remove it. I can't go myself and start moving. Niwe na pesa kidogo, that little money that can help me to send somebody to do some work for me.
Okay. Tell me, how did you manage to save money, that kind of money you are talking about?
My savings were very little. I saved some money with the Kakamega teachers, something. And the amount I got, it helped me. When I went for it, immediately I retired because it took long to get anything from the treasury for my retirement. So I went immediately for that one. I got some, 200 and something thousands. For me, it was a lot of money.
It was.
So I put it in use. I managed to build toilets at my school, which means I had also a small school which I had built.
Oh, you had a private school?
In fact, we can go and have a look at it. And then I kept running that school until COVID came. When COVID came, I ran away from the management of the school. So I have given it out to somebody else.
You've sold it?
Yeah, no, I've rented it out.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. So that was a source of income for you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
A little income.
that's nice.
Keep me going.
Okay.
Yes.
This is grass you plant?
Yes.
Ah.
When I harvest, I sell them in bales. And then the seeds I sell 6,000 per gunia. About 3 acres.
3 acres of this grass.
First I planted up to there, and then last year I planted up to there, and then this year you can just see I filled the other area to the other side.
So that is 3 acres of grass. Huh?
Yes.
How many sacks do you get?
The bales is what I can quantify for you.
What?
It is compressed grass into some rectangular shape.
Okay.
And one bale goes for 300 to 400, and some people sell it even at 600.
And so you harvest how many bags, bales here?
Bales.
How many?
The first one during the rain season like this one should be about 300 bales.
Okay. How long does the grass take to grow?
Months. Just 2-3 months. I harvest about 3 times a year.
In a year?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. And is it labor intensive?
It is much better than mahindi here because the, the machine comes to cut, to mow, and then it will come to compress and tie it into belts. And you can get a buyer to come and pick them from the shop.
Wow.
Then you are through.
Okay. This is a
Or
good.
when there is no buyer, you have to put them in the store. So I have a store, it's spare them in there.
Okay.
And this grass is only 2 last years anyway. I've been suffering with the maize.
Why?
Because the inputs are high. And every stage is spending. Plowing, replow, then plant. You can't plant without the seed itself. You buy the fertilizers and so on.
Okay.
Do you know how expensive those things can be?
Yes. Are there challenges you remember that you really encountered, your worst period as a teacher?
They are there.
Mm.
A child, a girl, dropped a fetus, a child. It was a mature baby in the toilet. And with my night dress, waking up all the students, trying to find out now the nanny. The one who had done it had gone back to the dormitory, cleaned herself, and was sleeping with the rest. So the watchman woke me up. And until midday, the following day, is when we got the one who had done that. We went checking. She was clever enough. When we are checking, she slips into the group that has been checked. And later on, we now put a room this side and another one that. When you are checked, you move this other side. Oh, it was the bad, the worst. Worst.
How did you treat the case?
Of course, the police took it up, and the baby was still alive. It was taken to the hospital at Tarbo. At that time, there was no hospital around here. You can imagine. So the baby was taken to Tarbo, but after 2 days, it passed on.
Okay.
So the girl also had to be taken by the parents to follow up the case at home now. And you know, at that time, there was no permission that you stay with a girl who is pregnant in school. So it was also a case against me for staying with a girl until she's delivering on the compound. That was a crime also for the head of the institution.
Okay, I want you to give us some advice on how we can prepare ourselves, especially the young people, how they can prepare themselves for retirement. Yes.
It depends on your vision at the beginning of your working time. First of all, even before you start working, or you may not work the first years. So you think of those years, like me, I'm now for 73, 72. This is the year when it reaches next year. March will be 73 years. So I'm asking, it comes in your memory and thinking that one day you will not be as strong as you are. If you're working, you will know that one day I will not be working. I will not receive a salary at the end of the month. What will happen? Shall I, me, as a Mwalimu, go with a bakuli and on the road and beg? How shall I do? So it must come somewhere, even towards as you train, as you go through school. You are looking forward to getting a job. You're getting occupied, some way of getting some income. But remember, even if it is border, there will be a time when you cannot even do that. You cannot cycle in that motorcycle, whatever. So it should be something that everybody can think about.
Okay.
And when it comes, then what will be the case? There are alternatives. There are people who do a saving. But that saving, now when something big comes, it becomes a problem. Like what I've seen here. When you have a child is dying or what, you have such a tragedy, now you think of the only land that you bought. Now you lose it. So, and yet you bought that land saying, like my husband used to say, my family will settle here. I don't know whether he knew that he would not be there when, because he would say, this is the place I would like my family to settle. Then after he has gone, Mimi, I have a little problem. He said, it does not. Yeah. So anybody who thinks about those ages that I am in should also remember that you have to really plan for it and be sure that you'll never touch it, which means you must have multiple sources of income so that when this one is not bringing, there's long term and short term income. Like my trees had to take 10 years. My vegetables take a lot of weeks. There is the maize which is perennial. That's within a year. There is also the ng'ombe which brings daily income.
Yes. We finally had some time to walk in the kitchen garden, and then we ended up with a gig. It has been so nice spending time with Mrs. Munyendo, formerly the principal of Nangili Girls High School. She has also been a principal at St. Teresa Bumini, lastly at St. Augustine's Soisambu here in Soi. And now she's a proud retiree on her farm, enjoying everything from her farm, as she has told us. And we just want to thank God for her and thank her so much for the advice she has given. And together,
Bye. Please, everybody, subscribe to Grandma Frida.